So I'm Yann, Director of Engineering Strategy at The Fork and a co-founder of MCP House Builder. So today I'm going to have a very short talk about bringing search to ChatGPT, how we optimize the intent understanding. So basically, that's the talk. So this is how we implement the intent understanding. That was a very short talk, sorry. No, yeah. So basically, I will explain at the fork what happened. So our problem is that we have something like a few thousand K restaurants. And we have to make them discoverable through ChatGPT in the base way. And as you see, MCP has bring this new experience, which is very lightweight compared to what you expect from your original app in the web or into iOS. So you don't want to bloat the user. You don't want to have this complex experience that is leading you to having so many filters that they need 30 minutes to understand what you can do. And this is what ChatGPT is bringing to you, is the conversational aspect. So the fact that we are bringing intent centricity, and this is what we expect to take advantage from at the fork. So we have this big database of restaurants. So you need a way to capture the user intent, their preferences in the best way. And you need to make it like in a way that also is consistent with your internal API, because you don't build ChatGPT app native at the moment. You are, most of you, coming from legacy company that have done search for already 15 years, for us, for example. And we have this plenty of different experience in our application. So currently we have two different kind of application experience. The first one is the very natural one for years, the criterions. Criterions at the fork that are done by tags, and you can have something like 100 filters, different filters. And you have to explain that to GPT in a way that it's consumable. There's a way we launched just before GPT apps. We have done our own semantic search. So you can express something more conversational. And we want to bring the best of the tools in ChatGPT. So what we have done is basically we let GPT choose. To make that, you have to explain that we have these both interfaces available. And as many of you right now I may have tested in the past, the problem is you can just say, okay, let's wrap up the API into MCP. That makes no sense. So what we want to do is to bring one single tool, and this tool has to be as comprehensive as possible. And on behalf of the user, GPT will select how to call the tool, but also there will be the hint for us to understand how to use the right API on our side. And this is what we did. So basically, we have two different kind of parameters. If the research can be identified through these few parameters, so cuisine, dishes, kind of dietary restrictions, features can be, I want a restaurant that is dog-friendly. So that's kind of the feature we already have in the taxonomy, and this is working very well. If you have this, we can use this basic search. And then we have everything else, basically. So everything that has to be curated, because also, ChatGPT and OpenAI, they don't want you to extract information, private information. And if you're like me, you can be very extensively giving information to ChatGPT, especially personal information. So you don't want that. So basically, we asked GPT to curate the semantic approach and kind of also compress the intention of the user, which is cool for us because that makes less work to do after that. So what we instruct, and this is part of the original prompt I showed you in the first slide, basically what we do is we explain in which case we can use one or the other and the logic behind the fields. That was the very basic first thing we did. And you give also the logic, so if you can combine filters, that's something that is very easy for GPT to perform at the right pace and correctly. And this is the first thing we did. And then we explain also, okay, so if you have multifaceted requests, like a cozy romantic Italian with live music, yeah, we don't have these filters to combine, unfortunately, or it becomes like a very complex filter thing. And this is where the semantic approach was done. At the Fox, the semantic approach is very cool because we have a big rack stuff done on all the reviews, all the in the pictures. We use a picture-to-text system, so we have a complete description of the picture, and we can use that in the semantic search. So the first result was very bad. In the end, conflicting filters, the level of accuracy was not very good. And this is why we had to implement the critical rules. So basically, you need first to explain how to use your tool, but what is the differentiator is what not to do. Because first, GPT will use your tool and try to call at the same time classic and semantic search, totally mixed. Or they will also make sure that you have the information by repeating that maybe several times the same thing. So sometimes, for example, we had this problem where the semantic search was called, but with the information about the venue, the time, the date, and so on, that was polluting the semantic search. And this is what you have to explain in a second row, is what not to do with your tool. And exactly providing the very keyword, like only as at the beginning of sentence, it's changing totally the evaluation by 15%, for example, in a case. So what we expect then is that I give you two different examples, which is done just before, because I was very late in my slides, but it's cool because it's very live. So this is two examples. The first time on the left, I say, okay, can you find me around La Fabrique République, a bar that is also playing metal music, or why not? And the second was okay, and I want to go with my dog in this restaurant. And you see what happened is basically on the left, the decision from GPT was, okay, there is no tag matching that, no search filter matching this. So I'm going to give you this as a semantic query. And you see, it was a bit more extensive than just playing metal music. So consider alternative atmosphere, loud music, which is not the best description for metal, but works, maybe. On the right side, this is the intent that is coming with the dog, and we have a filter for that. So it decided on purpose to use the filter. And all these filters, we don't give this as second tools to understand what is the semantic. So dog-friendly is not, you call the tool, you see the filters available. It's directly into the prompt. So that's end up with a very basic way of working. And the current situation is that we fulfill most of the query and we do observability. And currently, 70% of the tool call are done with classical search. Only 30% go to semantic, which is very good because both of them are great, but the second one costs a bit more in the end. So we have been able to fulfill the full intention to the people, and the intent is very complete. And as you can see, this is where you should go around here if you want to have a good metal music restaurant. That's it.